Good evening, everyone. What an honor to be here tonight. In front of all of these warriors and warrior families, I thank you. I know what most of you are thinking. How could she possibly have 23 years of experience? Thank you for laughing. But it's true. And fortunately, tonight, I will be talking to you about a few themes that I've learned in my time with my career. 3 truths that I've learned that your parents probably didn't want you to know. But first, to the families and supporters, thank you for all of the encouragement and support that you have provided these amazing students so far. And congratulations for surviving all of those teenage years together as well. I know tonight must be a very, very bittersweet moment, celebrating lots of lasts, but also knowing it's a first journey for a lot of the firsts to come. To the teachers and staff, thank you for investing so much heart into all of these students every single day. And to the class of 2026, congratulations. You have earned it. Look around at each other. Look around at all of the people here supporting you tonight. Soak in every single moment that's left. My name is Cindy, and I'm here tonight because, like many of you, I have built a life that wasn't necessarily all mapped out for me. I'm a daughter of immigrants, a managing director in a very, very male-dominated world, a wife, and a mom of 2 boys. So I've seen a lot. I've built a career on advising top executives across many different companies. So I've seen that success isn't necessarily about having all the right answers. And today I'll talk to you about those truths. Number 1, you don't have to have it all figured out today. So go ahead and throw those 5-year plans out the window. Number 2, choose discomfort. Yes, I am telling you to make your lives harder on purpose. And number 3, relationships matter more than resumes. So I'm giving you the permission to trade a few of those library hours for tailgating or spending time with your friends. It might mean more in the future. Sorry, parents, I know some of you were probably hoping for the safe, follow your dreams kind of speech, but tonight you got the unfiltered version. But honestly, nobody is probably more worried about what I will be saying tonight more than my niece Sophia graduating tonight. I can see her nervously laughing and maybe smiling as Aunt Cindy goes rogue up here. But in all seriousness, I learned these truths the hard way. Let me tell you a little bit more about my background. So in high school, I was the perfect student, right, Mom and Dad? Yeah. Class president, straight A's, sports, volunteering, working at the same time. I checked every single box. I even cobbled together a full ride to the University of Kansas. Go Jayhawks. I know there are at least a couple of you out there. And I even graduated a semester early. I was convinced that I had done every single thing right. So obviously the next thing was to get a perfect job, my dream job. I wanted to work at an advertising agency, like the fancy ones you see on the TV shows like Mad Men. That was my dream. And since I had done everything right, it was going to happen. I remember the interviews like yesterday. I had my quintessential black suit, my crisp white shirt. My resume was even printed out on really, really nice vellum paper. Yes, we printed things out back then. And when I finally got my first job offer, it was even for the lead position of the late night shift at a 24-hour fitness in Frisco, Texas. After all that time, money, and effort that I poured into my perfect resume and my perfect plan, I somehow ended up managing treadmills at midnight. After many more failed interviews, of trying to land my dream job, my sister called me, thankfully, and said, "Hey, my old boss is hiring. I told him all about you, and he wants to meet you. Maybe you should consider a plan B. Plus, you like to travel and eat, right? I think you might want to try consulting." Now, I had no idea what consulting was, but it had to have been better than a gym. And the more I learned about it, the more I did realize that it actually fit who I was. And I didn't know much about consulting, but what I knew about myself was I wanted to solve problems, I wanted a place to grow, I wanted to keep learning, working hard, and playing hard at the same time. And turns out that's pretty much what consulting is. And I've never looked back, and still to this day, I absolutely love what I do. Looking back now, I also realize those 3 truths were already showing up in that moment. I didn't have it all figured out when Plan A fell through. I had to step into something uncomfortable, and the opportunity that changed my life came from a relationship and not a resume. The beautiful thing about not having it all figured out right now is that it keeps you open to the opportunities and the versions of yourself that you don't even know exist yet. Which brings me to truth number 2. Choose discomfort. I know that sounds like terrible advice. I know none of you wake up thinking, you know what, let's make life hard today, in the name of personal growth. But growth and discomfort rarely are separated. They travel together. And some of the biggest doors in your life will begin with you feeling completely unprepared and, quite frankly, nauseous. I heard a fact on the internet, so it must be true. The pace of change right now is the slowest it will ever be. Take that in. The pace of change right now is the slowest it will ever be. So you might as well learn how to grow with change instead of fearing it. When I was in high school, I was in my perfectionist, achievement-oriented Cindy 1.0 era. I would have done anything to avoid discomfort. That's why I planned everything to the T. I only wanted to do things I was comfortable with, only wanted to do things that were safe and predictable and in my control. But now that I'm older, just a little bit, and in my Cindy 2 era, maybe 3, 4, 5 at this point, I've lost count, I know better. I recognize that I'm usually not in control at all. I've failed quite a bit more, which is why I intentionally put myself in uncomfortable situations, because I finally accept that that's where growth comes from. And that's where grit and confidence gets built. Things like signing up for that TEDx talk. Big stage, important message, hoping that you don't publicly embarrass yourself in front of everyone, eerily similar to tonight. But I'm growing and learning that confidence and grit does not come before the hard thing. It comes after it. And the only way to get yourself comfortable is intentionally choosing discomfort. That's when warriors find out what they're made of. Try it. You might surprise yourself. I remember in my early consulting career walking into a huge client meeting, and my boss introduced me as the data lead expert on my very first project, which was interesting because I wasn't leading anything, and I certainly, at the time, was not a data expert. I was convinced that somebody would say, "She has no idea what she's doing," which, to be fair, was partially true. Afterwards, my boss pulled me aside. He could tell how uncomfortable I was, and he gave me advice I still carry with me today. Cindy, nobody expects you to be an expert overnight. You will learn. And you'd be surprised at how far likability and the willingness to get things done and figure it out will take you. Just believe in yourself, take care of your team, and you'll find a way to add value. And he was right. Throughout all of these years, working and hiring so many different people, it's all about being the kind of person that others trust to get the job done. And not just get the job done, but also trust to be on the team, to be chosen for the team when things get tough. So when life puts you in rooms and situations that intimidate you, go anyway, because confidence isn't something that you start with. It's something that you build. And that brings me to the third truth, my favorite, the one that your parents really don't want you to hear. Relationships matter more than resumes. Yes, I said it. And before any of the parents start emailing the school and complaining, let me explain. I'm not saying that grades don't matter. Work hard. Please work hard. That's table stakes. Like, you have to know what you're doing. But some of the most important things that show up in your life will never be on a transcript. When I was younger, I was so focused on achievement. I sometimes forgot to make time for the people around me. I took them for granted, that they would always just be there. But over time, I realized that things that mattered the most weren't the awards or the titles. Those fade faster than you think. It was the people. I also never thought the friends that I surrounded myself in school or in my early career would still be around in my future today. And some of yours will be too. Some become your chosen family. Some become your professional network. And some will sit beside you during the hardest moments of your life. So choose your people wisely. Spend time building true and meaningful relationships. It may occasionally pull you away from that perfect plan, but I promise you the time is well spent. Learn how to listen and love generously. Learn how to show up for people without asking for anything in return. Because in today's world, your ability to connect, empathize, and be deeply human will matter more than anything. And success means very little if you get there alone. When I look back now, I realize something. If my life had gone exactly as planned, as 18-year-old Cindy planned it out, I probably would have never built the life I was meant to have. So graduates, as you leave here tonight, I hope you remember these three things. Number one, you don't have to have your entire life figured out right now. Some of the most meaningful parts of your life will come from the plans that fall through and the opportunities you never saw coming. Don't be afraid, number two, don't be afraid to choose discomfort, because growth, grit, and confidence rarely shows up feeling safe. And number three, relationships over resumes. The relationships you build will shape your life more than any resume will. So don't lose sight of the people around you as you build your futures. Love on your parents and your families. Don't forget them over these next few years. Keep learning, keep evolving, keep people at the heart of what you do. And trust that even when life doesn't go according to plan, have comfort that you are still becoming exactly who you were meant to be. Oh, and Sophia, I'd like to go on record showing that Aunt Cindy fully supports academic excellence and only responsible decision-making. You all are witnesses. Remember to call home, and if your parents ask them, this speech was completely made up by AI. But truly, Memorial High School, class of 2026, I cannot wait to see the lives you build, the risks you take, and the impact you make on this world. I'm rooting for you. Thank you.